What's up, everybody? It's Brian from USA.Patriot.Cards. What a week. Last week, as we approached the Super Bowl, I talked about in my last video a couple trades that I had pulled off. One that I had pulled off and one that I was really close to pulling off. Well, I didn't get that second deal done. So let's just hop right into it. What a great game by the Kansas City Chiefs and Pat Mahomes. And Eagles played well. Jalen Hurts played well. But, man, Pat Mahomes continues to rise to the top and possibly one day be right there on definitely the Mount Rushmore of quarterbacks with Brady and Montana. But will he ever eclipse Brady? Who knows? It's way too early, but I'm going to have fun watching and seeing. That was a big, important Super Bowl for him to get. 2 is definitely better than 1 and on his way to a handful, hopefully. So anyway, let's talk about it. I talked about in my last video the deal that I was approaching and that it had an expiration date. And the reason that it had an expiration date is because it was for this card right here. This card is a 2017 Panini Donruss Optic Holo. Pat Mahomes autograph, PSA 10. The thing about this card that intrigued me, it's a Pop 14. It's out of 99, right? But most of the autos on this Holo Optic rookie are streaky. And as you can see here, and if you really blow it up and look closely, it's not a perfect auto, but it's about as close to perfection when it comes to his auto on this particular card as you're going to get. And it's a PSA 10. Like I said, only a Pop 14. So the story on this is that there was I think it was a golden auction that had ended on a streaky auto Monday of last week at 13.5. And you wonder, how much more does a clean auto bring, right? The 13.5 was a streaky auto. Here, I'll show it to you right here. So here's the one that ended for, it was just 13 something. I'm thinking 13.5, but again, was this shilled? It's very possible that it could have been shilled. A lot of the big auction houses are dealing with the same problems that eBay deals with, and that's non-paying bidders, non-paying winning bidders. So there's really no way you can tell. And with this ending so close to the game, I had to just work off of, well, it's a legit comp and it's paid. I mean, I was kind of pressed into a corner on this one because, like I said, the game was coming up in like less than a week. Now the comp before this 13.5 was 11 something, and I think it was in early December, and that was before the playoffs, and a lot of people didn't think Mahomes would get past Allen or Burrow, and he did. So I can see the jump from 11 to 13. So it wasn't crazy to consider this a legit comp. But it brought me to, how much is the clean auto? It's not a 10. I mean, if it was a 10-10 and the auto was graded, I think you could assume it's probably 20 to 25% more. It's just the eye test, okay? The auto's not graded. I don't know if it would get a 10. But it's clean looking, so there's some premium there over the 13.5 with a streak. He wanted to be at 16. I wanted to be at 14. He was taking back a ton of trade. Ultimately, I got to his 16, and he pressed for $250 more. I don't want to out this dude. He's a good dude. I think he just had a big card, and he was wanting to, maximize his what he could bring back for it. I'm not hating on him for that at all. It just, in the end, I just couldn't get there. So here's what I was going to give him. Let's see, where is it on my screen here? Okay, he wanted baseball, and so I sent him a bunch of baseball stuff, and he picked out this Vladdy, this Ricky Henderson, the Ohtani Gold, the 2 J-Rod Bowman Chromes, and then I also sent him all these Ohtani Bowman 10 rookies, and then a Topps Chrome Ohtani rookie. All told, this was like $9K in value. All those cards. The thing about the one thing I will mention is everything pretty much was easy to comp except for this green Vladdy. So there are a couple recent comps on this. They're both men gems. One did 45, and then a couple weeks ago, one did 55. Both legit sales. Checked Terapeak, and they both were paid for. He didn't want to be at 55 for this green. He wanted to be at 5, and because it was a buy it now, the $5,500 one that just sold, and it was a min gem, so it had 1.9. This one, mine, is 3 9/5s and a 10. You know, I was willing to go to 5 on it just because I wanted that Mahomes card so bad. But really, I think this card is more around a 6K card. So in the end, Mahomes wins the Super Bowl. I don't come away with the card I was really pressing to get, but I'll tell you why I didn't. So I showed you this picture before. Okay, I just showed you this, the Mahomes holo. Look at right above the middle loop here. Look at all these white splotches. You see all these white splotches? On his red jersey, on his elbow, up on his face. Those are all called Newton rings. And what happens is these really chromium finished cards, like the optics, the prisms, select, sometimes they will like press up against a PSA slab, and they will form these Newton rings. Now, I don't think it's damaging the card. A matter of fact, I've had a few that I was able to kind of bang against my leg and get the card to separate from the case, and they go away. But I don't know what those rings can do when they're like right on top of an auto, kind of like this one is. I don't know if that auto starts to bleed, and really the only way you can tell, excuse me, is if you crack it open and look. Now, there's no way I would crack a PSA 10 Pop 14. I just wouldn't, because there's no guarantee you're going to get that grade again. But I went and looked at the PSA photo. So if you type in the number, you Google PSA lookup, and you go and you type in the number on the flip here, the 430222327. Look at this version. Look how clean it is. There's no rings yet, right? Matter of fact, it even looks like the auto is a little bit cleaner. Meaning that on these, especially 2017 Optic, it just seems like this was a bad year for Newton rings. It means that this card will only continue to get more of that situation, more of those Newton rings. They'll become more prominent. They might start affecting the auto. I don't know. PSA really, really, really has to consider doing something. Now, you can send it in slab and ask for a re-slab. You can ask them to put it into a sleeve. They'll do that for you. But ultimately, excuse me, I didn't feel comfortable with coming out of pocket so heavy for a card that, when I got into my hands, was going to be less than a masterpiece. I understand that the Newton rings might not damage the actual card. It's just sort of depressing to look at this card, this 16K card, right? And you're looking at it, and it's got these like splotches all over it, almost like a rash. So I have a pretty big Mahomes bag anyway. Here, I'll show you what I have. Here, I've got these 4 big ones, including this field level gold and this camo auto, and then I've got this mini bag over here. Interestingly, on this Classics right here, it's a no-name parallel. Now, it's a second year, it's not a rookie, but it's a no-name parallel out of 10, and a second year flawless patch auto. So it wasn't like I was going into the Super Bowl with no Mahomes. So, I mean, you know, he sort of pressed and pressed and pressed to get more and more and more. And then at the end, I thought I offered him my best offer. And he came back and said $250 more and you got a deal. I'm like, Jesus, no. How about no? And so I walked away. That's that deal. Now, the deal I did get done was for what's in here. Let me go ahead and open this up, and then I'll talk about sort of what I gave and how it led into a second trade that I did pull off that is in the mail, but I checked and that card won't get here till Friday. I was thinking about holding off on this video until I got the next card I'm going to show you, because the two trades sort of come together. Like, I'll explain it. But I was like, man, Friday, I don't want to wait that long. I'll just get this video out and then I'll show you the card when it comes in. Check this out. That's right. 2018 Prism Mojo rookie signature out of 25. This one is 3 out of 25 right there. The Luka Mojo Auto. It's a stunning card in hand. It's gorgeous. There's only 3 sales of a 9.5, and they are as follows: 25K, 25K, 10K. I was able to trade into this card at the 10K value. This is the kind of trade that you dream about. It came along, found it on Facebook, connected with the guy, sent him my stuff. He picked out 4 or 5 cards. We comped it, added it up. I was 1,000 short, sent him the cash. Boom, bam. A+ across the board. A+ across the board. It's TK_Razzes, R-A-Z-Z-E-S. TK_Razzes on Instagram. Amazing person to deal with. His name's Kyle. I have an idea that we'll probably do a lot more deals, because he's looking to kind of liquidate into easier moving stuff, and I'm obviously looking all day for stuff like this. So let me show you what I traded for this. It's on my screen here. All right. Like I said, I gave him 1,000, and then ultimately I think I ended up being around 11 on this, which is a couple hundred more than the last comp, but you'll never see this again. Like, this will never come. I mean, to get into it for like 1,000 cash and cards, it was a no-brainer for me. Now, it was also a good deal for him. I'm not saying I won this trade by any means. It's just for my purposes as a Luka PC collector. This was a knock it out of the park trade for me. He did what he wanted. We walk away happy, both of us. So that's the best kind of deal. But I gave this Jaw Fast Break Blue. Now, I got this about a year ago. It's been trending downward ever since. I think I got it at around 4,500. Right after I got it, the next sale was like 6,200, and then it started going down from there. Last sale was 3,650, but there hasn't been a sale since September. I gave this at a 3K value, and I'll tell you why. I initially had floated it at a 3,650, the last comp, but he said, I don't know on the Jaw if I want to be at 3,650. There hasn't been one that's sold in a while. So I said, how about 3K? He said, yeah, I'll do 3K. Now, why did I say 3K? There's one on eBay for 3,200 or best offer, just like that. PSA 10 Fast Break Blue sitting there. It hadn't moved. It's still there right now. No, so let's say he accepts 2,800 bucks, which I think is fair to assume that he would. By the time you take a $2,800 eBay sale, you're looking at 280, 143, 20. You're looking at about 2,450 liquid to move that. So to get 3K in trade, I was happy. The Joker Red, White, and Blue, I actually won an auction in mid-December for like 530 on this, and then it just jumped. I think I got it at its absolute low point because the last 2 comps were around 1,100, and I ended up getting 1,100 trade value there, so I doubled my money on that. That was pretty nice. The Wit Speckle, I have a ton of Wit. I didn't mind coming off of a Wit, especially a Speckle. Speckle's out of $2.99, but it's just, the Speckle's a parallel that some people are interested in, some people aren't. It's kind of harder to move, but I think this was a $2,200 value there. The Purple Wave Luka probably is the one that hurt the most, but I got to start getting creative in terms of like what I'm trading, and some of my lower end parallels of my Luka stuff are becoming available just because I'm having less and less to trade. So I've got to start, making some concessions here and there. So I want to say it was around 2,300 was the last comp on the Luka, the green. One thing I will say, you see these little chips on the green. I didn't even notice these when I sent them. There's little chips in the case. I don't know how that happened, but he received them. He did mention it, but he was like, dude, it's totally cool. Like, I should have no problem moving this. I offered to pay for the reslab. So I just want to shout out to him. Obviously, it's just on the case. Obviously, this is one of the lower cards in the deal. He didn't trip. He didn't say this is fucked up. He didn't say you need to send me $300. Like, none of that. He's like, dude, it's cool. So and I guarantee you we're going to do more deals, me and him. So I'll remember that he was cool on this green. And, if there's a moment in one of our future deals where I'm like, oh, I don't know, I feel like I need a couple hundred more, then I'll just say, you know what, you were cool on the green. Boom, done. So always don't be afraid. Don't squeeze people for every penny, or don't squeeze people on like a chipped case or something. If like, I promise, I did not know that this was that was part of that had happened to this green Luka. So he was cool. I appreciate that. I'm going to be cool to him on down the line. So then two smaller Kobe's here that comped out, I think at 100 and 150. But all told, let's see, it was 3 on the jaw. It was 11 on the Joker. That's 41. 22 on the Wit. That 63. It was 22 on the Purple Wave. That is 65. 85. 12 on the green, that's 97, and then about 300 on the Kobe's, that's a 10K in trade and 1K in cash, gets you to 11K, and that's about right for this. So again, if you find someone that's willing to take 95% of trade on this, even better. So grabbing this freed me up to move a Luka auto in another deal that I'm going to show you. Now, a lot of you guys might have seen the last Dallas Card Show video that I did with my friend Wes. And in that video, that's where I got the two Lukas, the blue Prism and then the blue Contenders Optic rookie ticket auto. In that video, he picked up this bad boy right here. He picked up this Burrow Championship ticket out of 49 auto. And I knew right when he got that, he paid $8,200 for it. Right when he got it, I was like, I'm jealous. I like that card. So I would always just kind of like mention it in passing when I talk to, hey man, when are you going to trade me that Burrow? Well, I think it was Super Bowl Sunday morning. He says, hey man, somebody's after that Burrow. They're willing to give me like 10.5 in value, which the last sale on this, I think was, man, I'd have to check. I think it was 9,500. All right. So the last comp on this Burrow was in the 9.5 was August 26th, right before the season at 95. Now the last 10 just did 11.1. It was a double 10 on December 18th. So that's slightly concerning. I did not see that comp when I made the trade, but whatever. This might be more like an $8,500 card. Let me see what other stuff has come in. There was a 9 on January 28th that did 7,300. So you look for the middle ground there between 11 and 73. Yeah, so it makes sense that it's probably a 9K card. 85 to 9 is probably what it is. And so when you consider that, it does. He bought it for 8,200. So I know that because I was standing there when he did it. So I know that he wanted to make a little money on it because, I mean, there's not just a bunch of Burrow champ tickets growing on trees, and Burrow is the second, regarded as the second best quarterback in the league behind Mahomes. Here's what I gave to acquire this. Now, I had just picked up this red optic Burrow out of 199 in a deal before the Chiefs game, just in case he beat Mahomes and went on to the Super Bowl. I wanted to be covered before the prices went up. I was in this at around 5,500, and I got out of it around 5. So I took about a $500 loss on that. No big deal. So there's 5. The blue Velocity Luka, I got in at 9, out at 1,000. So that's 6 right there. Oh man, the orange Tua stuff has really had sharp declines. So I think I bought this for my friend for like 800 before the season. Got off of it at 5. So not terrible. There's 65 right there. Now here's the card that I was able to move because I got the mojo. This Luka Rookie Signatures Prism with a 10 and 395s. I think the last Min Gym did 2,400, so I think I gave him a pretty solid value. I took 2,500 here, but I think you can get the 10s for like 3,500. So I mean, I couldn't be too high on this just because it's not a 10. It's got nice subgrades, and I think he might try to cross it over. If he does, he'll realize some nice value there. So 5 on the Burrow, 1K on the blue Luka, that's 6, 500 on the Tua, that's 6,500. This is 2,500, so that is 9K there. And then this Trevor Lawrence does about 700 with the seal. He can grade it. It might PSA 10. It looks like it's about 48.52 right to left. If he does grade it and it comes back at 10, he'll get a little value there. Even the 9s are doing like 900. So he should be able to pick up a little bit of money just by grading this. But about 9,700 in trade, all told right there. Now, something interesting to think about on this is that, let me bring up my calculator because my phone is being used at the moment. Let's see, 9,700 in trade times 0.85 equals 82.45. So essentially, if I were to cash out on all those cards, I'd be looking at about $8,200. He bought the card for $8,200, so it works. People think maybe that Burrow's card shouldn't go down. Well, I don't think this one went down. I mean, I don't think that they necessarily should go up. I mean, he ultimately did lose to Mahomes. So a flat Burrow on the high-end side of things is about where it is. I think it's about what I feel comfortable with. He feels comfortable with. I mean, like I said, I took a $500 loss on the red to 199 optic. It's a gorgeous card. But I knew from the time that he bought this, I wanted to bring this baby into my collection, this champ ticket. So, yeah, it's a lot of cards that were moved for 2 bigger cards. Had this been $1,000, which I've sold so much lately, that wasn't a problem at all. Just interesting how everything worked out. Ultimately, I'm still glad I didn't move on that Optic Hollow Mahomes, just because, like I said, going that hard and then getting the card and seeing the Newton rings, and not just, and I want to be like wowed, like I want to see like a masterpiece if I'm going to go, above and beyond the last comp by like 3K. I want it to be a wow card. And when I looked at the picture that PSA took when it graded it, and the picture that he showed me, it's just gotten worse and worse. So I ultimately passed, and even though Mahomes won his second Super Bowl, I don't regret not moving on that, especially when I can do two huge pickups like this. Still, I'm in talks right now to trade possibly an orange Mahomes PSA 10 Prism rookie. I'm also trying to facilitate a deal for this Kyrie Irving 2012 Prism Silver PSA 10 rookie. So there's a few things in the works. Just trying to work that out, but I'll let you know when it comes. And also the Champ Ticket Burrow, when it comes, I'll throw up a mail day on that. But there you have it. I appreciate you guys sticking through all this with me, and appreciate you guys letting me share my thoughts and my trades in this hobby that I dearly love. And until I make another one of these things, take care. Brush your hair. We'll see you on the next one. Bye.